following program contains language and subject matter suitable only for an adult audience. Listener discretion is advised.
And welcome to the show Sucks, you motherfuckers. I am your host, Bryce Kane. Joining me right here is the sleepy Jessica Kane.
I am a table.
And over here is the digitized Jen Pleasanton.
Digital.
And we are doing fucking craptacular tonight. Tonight's show,
It's brought to you by the letter C.
We're going to try to get to some political topics and shit since, well, you know, we had the fucking debates.
Lovely.
We had Handkerchief Gate.
The only thing about that I care about is, you know, the Count died earlier in the month, and now they're trying to kill Big Bird.
They are trying to kill Big Bird. I was watching the fucking debates,
so sad.
And it was. Did you watch the? I'm guessing not, but did you watch the debates, Jen?
I tried not to, but everywhere I went, it was on the television, so...
I tuned in because I was hoping... This is what I was hoping for. I was hoping for a... What do you call it? A Barack Obama...
Beatdown?
Sarah Palin type situation. I was hoping that Barack Obama would come out and he'd be, you know, his cool fucking black, smooth, I ain't gonna take no shit from you.
Right.
I'm the commander-in-chief. You're a fucking idiot type thing. And then, you know, Mitt Romney turn around and go, you know, Obamacare sucks even though I invented it. And the only thing that he came out with that was Sarah Palin-ish is, I like Big Bird, and I'm gonna kill off PBS. That's about it. Everything else, Barack Obama just looked like a fucking mannequin.
Because he didn't have a
I
handkerchief.
did notice that. He seemed very robotic.
I didn't get it. I did not fucking get it, because, I mean, he's been through debates before. I mean, he had to go through debates in order to win his first 4 years.
There's 2 more left, dude. I ain't worried about it.
No, he's got one more, and then there's 2 other vice presidential ones. You know, I'm sitting there, I'm yelling at the fucking TV screen as if I'm watching Major League Football. I'm feeling like a fucking dork, by the way, because a lot of people are watching, you know, love to watch football, sports, fucking, you know, root for their team. I like watching political debates.
And when I watch sports, he actually kind of yawns in the background and like,
I do.
Grumble.
I feel like right now I feel like that nerd in high school who sucks up to the fucking principal. What? The fuck is that? What?
I am just reiterating what you said.
I'm a dork. I really am. I don't know. I wish I didn't love politics so much, because it drives me up the fucking wall. But I do. I mean, it's because it shapes the fucking world. You know, it's.
You act like we have a choice, though. I mean, seriously,
we
really
do,
dude. The whole
do.
George Bush thing proves that it's the electoral college that has.
Dude,
all
the whole
say.
George Bush thing had nothing to do with electoral college. It went to the fucking courts, and they decided.
Again, we had no choice. None.
Not in that one. No.
You really think we have them in any other?
Then why are you voting? You're
I
registered to vote. You're going in to vote. Why are you voting if you don't believe we have a choice?
Because I don't leave my house most days, and it gives me something to do.
Oh, that's bullshit. We've gone over the shit before.
If I mean, seriously, have you ever heard, you know, somebody won by 1 vote? 1. No. Never.
There's been
ever.
elections that have won by a narrow margin.
Yeah, what is that? 365,982. It's
You
never been
obviously
by
don't
one.
know how the electoral college works.
I'm gonna try to hang with you guys in this conversation, but honestly, I could care less who the president is because they all kind of do the same exact thing every time they get in office. They butter the world up
This
and say
is
they're
the-
gonna do
this
this
is
and
the
that,
problem.
and then when they get in office, it's kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot that. Sorry.
This is the problem with you bastards who don't like or believe in politics. You guys decide you're not going to get involved, and then these dumbass fucking Tea Party motherfuckers who are all riled up and shit, they get involved, then they vote in these laws that are fucking insane and asinine, and then we get to sit around doing shows about how these dumbass Tea Party motherfuckers voted in these laws that are dumbass and asinine.
I got a solution. I don't care. You just tell me who to vote for, and then we'll both be happy. Will that work? You should see his
Honestly, I grew
Why
up
are
in
we
household
even doing a show
where
tonight if you're
my
you're gonna do that?
grandfather
I'm
was
playing.
Republican and my grandmother was a Democrat. Okay.
Mhm.
So I got, one side of it, and then I got the other side of it. And I was
Mhm.
like, you know what? Everybody's got pros and cons. I have absolutely no idea who I would vote for. No idea.
Most of the time, I don't really give a fuck about the presidential candidates. However, I do like
I like Big Bird.
voting in on laws and shit that affect the local system. I mean, I like having a say in that shit.
Well, yeah.
I didn't mean to upset you.
You're just.
I love you too. I was
Yeah.
fucking with you, guy.
Big
Big Bird.
I'm too lazy
I love
to
the way
say
you guys
I love
talk
you.
dirty to each other.
You can anally rape me tonight.
I'm too lazy to do that.
Rain check.
Nope.
Boo.
Damn, he's pissed at me.
Yes, he is.
Baby.
I spent most of my life being taking my right to vote for granted. I don't take it for granted anymore, and I get pissed off when other people take their right to vote for granted.
But I vote every year.
Why? You don't care? You don't believe that it affects anything, so why do you do it?
Why are you mad at me? I'm just pushing your buttons.
And you're doing it very well.
Have I ever voted Republican? No. You should be really happy.
I am really happy, but why do you do it?
I'm not trying to play monkey in the middle here, honestly, but I see Bryce's point about we should definitely vote because every voice matters, and if you have an opinion, you should be able to express it, and voting for whatever party you would like to vote for, whatever laws or rules or regulations, that's voicing your opinion. And you're definitely entitled to do that. But I also kind of see how condemning the system looks from the outside.
It does.
See, okay, well, I don't think my voice would even matter.
It does. It makes you look like you're beat before you ever get in there. You know,
does.
when I go in, I
So
don't.
it's kind of like, I
Honestly,
what do you do?
when I go vote, I don't go vote for a lot of the individual, like, senators and stuff like that. I just punch a straight Democratic ticket. Because it's overwhelming. It's confusing the way they do it. There's all of the different bills and things like that. And you really have to read them carefully because they try to fuck you over and confuse you so you vote for the wrong thing. And it makes you feel like when it comes down to it, it really doesn't matter because you're going to get fucked over either way.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's the danger of the pros and the cons. They both have them, and it's just like, what do you end up being on the fence a lot of the
I was
time.
just trying to explain that for the layperson, when it comes down to it, it's really overwhelming and it's really. It makes you feel like you're beat before you ever get there.
I don't think Bryce is happy with us right now.
I'm looking around for where's that the ballot thing that we had talking about the shit here in California.
They-
a lot of some of this is confusing. I mean,
It really is. I mean, they don't even like if you put a check mark next to it, your vote doesn't count. You have to put a line and connect one side to the other. You know what I'm saying? Most people would just put a check mark. That the vote doesn't count. It's too confusing.
If it's a box, I'm gonna check.
Yeah, but it's not a box. It's like the beginning of an arrow and then the end of an arrow. And if you put a check there, it doesn't count. You have to connect the line, the pieces of the arrow for it to count.
Okay,
It's
that's
ridiculous.
well, hey, Roseanne Barr is running for president.
Yay!
Go vote for her.
interesting.
I'm kind of just looking over some of this stuff here.
I mean, at least they do now allow you to become an at-home voter, so you have time to look up all of the things, the different propositions
Well,
online.
here's
and
here's
research
something.
it.
Death penalty. They have on the ballot whether or not they're going to repeal the death penalty.
Well, I was looking.
So your vote actually gets to decide the life or death of a person.
But what amendment is that they're looking for?
34. I would think that that's important. I'm sure the people on death row think it's important.
Yeah, but you look at this other stuff and it's like bond measure W. The argument for bond measure W. Vote no on bond measure W. Empirical analysis of bond measure. Really, there's 2 whole pages of bond measure W. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a backside to that too. I mean, it's like they double talk around themselves. I mean, yeah, you're thinking, oh, money to the schools, that would be a good thing, and then you read it and you're like, well, wait. Maybe that's not. Maybe
So your answer is to just not vote?
that's not what I said. I said it is confusing and it makes you feel like you just can't win. Because, you know, like I said, here's the school tax vote. And there is all of these pages just on this one thing. They've been running ads on Hulu against the GMO labeling. You know, why it's important to vote no on it and not label it, because it's confusing and they'll have exempt and it makes you feel like labeling your food so you know if it's chemically altered would be a good thing. Most people would think.
Right.
However, all the ads say that the food, you know, that you feed your dog and stuff like this would have to be labeled, but the meat you eat would be exempt. And any food imported from overseas would be exempt. And it's just a waste of money and all this other. And I'm like, then why are you voting to do it if it would be exempt? I mean, what's the point in spending the money to make them do it if they're just going to be exempt anyway? It makes you feel beaten before you already begin. And that was the point that I was trying to make. But some of these, I mean, there's so much double talk, you don't know which one. I mean, there's some that are just obviously, you know, like repeal the 3 strikes law. Really, some people need more than 3 chances. I mean, but I'm sure there's something in here that says, well, if you do that, we're going to take your kids and stick them in a concentration camp, or just some ridiculous measure to go, will make people go, it really is a good idea.
So your answer is to blow it out of proportion instead of reading through the entire thing.
I was making an example. I wasn't trying to be ugly about anything. I'm trying to.
You're blowing it out of proportion, and you don't even read what you're talking about. You read like a small part of it and then say there's too much to read.
I think they do that on purpose. I think that they overload a lot of the stuff. That way people just goes, oh my god, this is so much. I think that's one of the tactics.
Then you're letting them win, if that's the case.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people, I'm sure, that vote that aren't exactly educated.
But
So-
yeah, I mean, I've read the measures, and there's a lot. This 37 one here, it says that it requires food labeling on solid to consumer-made plants, animals, things like that. To me, I read that one, and I thought, well, I'm going to vote yes on this because I really think that I should know what I'm eating. And then the propaganda ads come in, and they're like, oh, your food would be exempt anyway. You're going to know what your dog's eating. You're going to know...
See, I don't listen to the propaganda ads. I do not pay attention to any of them.
But how do you know which one to believe?
I don't believe any of them. I look at what's written in front of me on these ballots, and I make my choice that way. I don't listen to their sway. Their sway is all bullshit. This is what I look at: the cold, hard facts, the black and white, and I decide from that.
Well, don't the people that write these write it favorable for them so that you do pass it, so that they get the extra tax money for it?
Let me see. It requires labeling of food to consumers made from plants, animals, with genetic materials changed in specific ways, prohibits marketing such food or other processed foods as natural, provides exemptions. No, this is all completely descriptive neutral.
Well, it says it provides exemptions.
Or emotion neutral or whatever.
Provides exemptions to what?
I don't know.
And I mean that's a problem, right? I mean, to me, it would, if it didn't say provides exemptions, it would be like a shoe-in. It would be like, great, everything's going to be labeled. My Monster energy drink has no label on it. I have no idea what's killing me on that.
I'm actually wondering if these... Wait a minute, these 5-hour energies have a label on them.
But it doesn't have any nutrition in it. Well, what kills you is like if you get food stamps, you can go and you can buy like a Starbucks with it. But you can't buy a Monster because the Monster doesn't have a nutrition label. So they don't really have to tell you what's in it. I would like to know what's in it. On this one, I would like to know what's in it. But what if you pass it and the damn Monster's exempt?
Well, if you're voting just so you can see what's in a Monster, then
well, I'd like to see what's in all my food. I really would.
Mm-hmm.
The whole something is exempt, that bothers me.
Yeah, it kind of leaves it open for the person that's voting on the ballot to be like, okay, I don't know if I want to answer this yes or no or whatever. It's kind of like, it would be confusing. To me, it would be confusing.
And that's where I am. I'm not college educated, and I don't read between the lines. I'm a very black and white type person, and I read this and I'm like, that would be great, but what is this? Why are there exemptions? I mean, is there not a footnote? Do they not tell you in the back? The exemptions would be to anything that is natural. If it's all 100% beef, you don't have to put a label on that because we know it's 100% beef. I would say, you know what, that's great. Corn shouldn't be labeled with a nutrition label because it's corn.
If 100% beef and all that stuff isn't going to be labeled, then they need to stop labeling water because it's supposed to be 100% water.
Ice.
Yeah, but if they're going to label that stuff, then they need to label meat, even if it says 100% meat. Vitamin B, 0. Vitamin A, 0. They still need to label it.
And that would be great. I wish they would have written that right here. I wish that was included. I do. I just wish, like, the tax treatment for, clean energy. It says requires, to pay income taxes on their sales, dedicates revenue 5 years to clean energy, blah, 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 blah. A significant portion likely would be spent on schools.
Well, that doesn't mean definitely.
Likely. That means they don't have to do it.
Yeah. See, that's...
If they would have left that out, it would have been a shoo-in. I mean, hey, green energy is great. We need, renewable resources like wind and water and solar. But that likely thing, why add that? I'm like, okay, well, what are you going to do with the money that you didn't give to the school? Are you going to spend it on the clean energy? I mean, again, like I said, the 3-strike rule, that's a shoo-in. The other ones, like that, you don't want people to die. You don't want people's privacy invaded. You're going to automatically vote on that. It's the other ones, the sketchier ones that get me. It's like, it makes you almost feel like
Do
you're
they have
being.
is gay marriage on the ballot this year?
I think it's 3 strikes, sex offenders, food, renewable energy, things like that. Invading people's privacy, shit like that. I don't have no idea,
Yeah, I don't see anything about gay marriage.
So there's nothing about gay rights on the ballot at all.
Not in California, not this year. I mean, didn't they just take that shit to the Supreme Court?
It'll probably be on a mid-season ballot because they do, county and statewide elections at a different time. But and this right here, see, if you did that, they're not going to count your vote. You have to connect the dots. Couldn't you just punch a hole?
This is
Use a-
what
use a
I'll put it
touch
up on
screen?
the camera. This is what we're talking about. You can't. Damn it! You can't do a check mark through the line. You have to draw a line
Through the line.
through the thing. Now, when I first saw that, I was completely confused until I looked at the ballot, and they have these arrows right there that you have to draw the line through. Okay, all right. I probably would have done what you're talking about and put a check mark.
Yeah, circle something. But
X.
something. I hope it's really clear. But like on these, I don't know. Republicans leave a bad taste in my mouth just because of the whole George W. Bush, Ronald Reagan thing. So I don't even really look at these. I just go and punch a straight Democratic ballot.
Mm-hmm.
That's not where my vote is sketchy at all. I punch a straight Democratic ballot. It's the other stuff, the propaganda, the school tax, the solar. That makes you feel
And there's
beat before you ever start.
Like Bryce, he doesn't pay attention to the propaganda. He pays attention to the facts. But honestly, there's a lot of people that are uneducated about the facts and only come in contact with propaganda.
Yeah, they only get
That's-
the radio ads or the Hulu ads.
Yeah, I really cannot stand the attack ads and things because no matter who I'm for or against, every commercial is going to be swayed in a slight propaganda type way.
Well,
even Barack,
Right.
I'm for Barack Obama, but even the ads that his super PAC does is skewed, and so I don't listen to any of that shit. It's crap.
Like right here, they include propaganda in the ballot. If you vote yes on Measure W, which is your kid's school that they go to, which would give them saving millions of taxpayer dollars, and they will authorize reauthorize $79 million from a 2007 bond to your kid's school. This is directly my kid's school district. If you vote yes, you get to expand your district's vocational and education facilities, health trade. You get to upgrade their heating and ventilation and air conditioning system. All the classrooms get up-to-date technology. Upgrade science labs, replace leaky roofs, etc. And my kids go to a school that is a Title I school, which means they're poor. My kids don't have a lot of computers in their classroom and stuff. And then it says, well, if you vote no, you don't double your taxes. It's a win for taxpayers. It's still a win for schools. And currently we already owe $500 million on this bond that we can't afford any new borrowing. It pays off the taxes and goes back to the businesses so that so it makes you like,
Well, here's the problem that I have with people who are against taxes. Nobody likes paying taxes. Nobody. Okay? However, you can't get any shit done or anything built in this country without taxes.
dude, I agree. Roads do not build themselves. Teachers do not get paid without taxes.
Yeah, I agree.
Kids
with
don't
that.
eat, hungry kids don't get free lunch and breakfast without taxes. Taxes are a good thing. However, California has the highest tax rate in the country. Our sales tax on like food and cigarettes and gas is 7.75%. That is the highest tax rate in the country.
Yeah, and see, and I'm in Delaware, so guess what?
Yeah, I mean, How much is a tank of gas out there?
Probably. I'm gonna say completely full tank, probably around $70-$80.
Yeah, how much is it per gallon?
About 360, 370, something like that.
It was $4.47 a gallon here.
Yeah,
for
and-
regular.
and
That's
they-
not the premium or the
And
super.
don't they fucking pump gas or drill for gas or and oil out here?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
$4.47
Mm.
a gallon,
Yeah.
and you're paying taxes on that too. You know I can put $20 in my car tank and I get a quarter of a tank of gas. It's sad. You know, it's still 110 degrees out here some days a week.
This is going to show you how old we are, Jen. You remember back when gas was below $1?
When it was regular and unleaded, when they had lead
Yes.
in the gas.
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember 79 cents a gallon.
I remember when gas hit 99 cents, and I've said this to you before. I told everybody, if it goes over $1, I'm never driving again.
I was at the grocery
Oh,
store,
that
and
was good.
cigarettes and tobacco have an excise tax. It's called a sin tax.
Uh-huh.
You have to pay because it's bad for you. When I was a kid, my mom used to smoke those Moore cigarettes. You know, the really long fucking bastard that looks like the vagina slimes, but they're brown.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
She would get a package of Moore for like 78 cents a pack. I walked by the Food for Less, and they are $7.78 a pack. Because of the excess tax.
I remember when I first started smoking, like hardcore. It was when I was about 17, 18 years old. I was buying cigarettes for $1.25, and I was thinking that was outrageous.
Well, I started smoking in 1996. I was 16 years old because I got into a car accident. My nerves were fucking fried, and I could get a pack of Marlboro 100s hard pack in a box for $2 straight up. That was tax and everything.
We're old.
That's when they still had quarter machines, and you could buy your cigarettes out of the cigarette machines at the hotels and the bowling alleys and the bars. And you didn't have to worry about, underage tobacco sales. I remember when I was a kid, I was telling Bryce this the other day, my mom would pull up to the 7-Eleven, and she would give me $1 at 5 years old and send me into the gas station to buy cigarettes. The guy would look out the window, my mom would wave to him, and they would send me out with cigarettes. Or she'd write a note when I got a little older and send me up to the corner store. And I would buy her cigarettes that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they didn't have those laws. I mean, kids could buy cigarettes back then. There was no regulation on them or anything.
Well, they had laws you couldn't sell to minors. However, they didn't have a law saying that if you did sell to minors, your ass was going to jail.
I remember life before aluminum soda cans. Remember when, like, Pepsi came in the bottle and it had the styrofoam label around the outside?
No,
I remember that. There were
I remember the
shorties.
bottles.
There were short little bottles and they had a styrofoam label. That's back when McDonald's packed all their burgers in polystyrene.
I remember that. Yes.
It's before they went to paper. And when you went to the store to get your RC Cola and stuff, it all came in the bottle and you had to on the side of the can because if not, you're looking
I
for a
remember
rock.
when they first came out with the tabs on the top.
Oh, those
to-
teardrop
to
pull-up
open 'em up.
bastards, and you're like,
Yeah,
"Hey."
and I remember opening the first one up and thinking to myself, you can cut the shit out of yourself on these things.
Well, what's really Jen's just sitting there going, "God damn, they're fucking old."
We are.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
I hate it because my kids will never remember, know the joy of going, dude, I am thirsty. And you're like, dude, let's go look for Coke bottles. And you go look for all the deposit bottles, the RC Cola and stuff. And a lot of times the stores themselves would keep them in the crates out back. And you could just go swipe a bunch of bottles and take them into the soda store.
I was born into a time where they didn't have recycling.
And you could turn them back in, get the deposit money, you could get a Coke, and then they had all the penny candy, and you could get all your candy and stuff, and you got it basically because you turned in the bottles.
I was born into a time where they didn't have mass recycling.
Yeah, they just reused all the bottles.
Yeah.
They had deposit bottles.
They didn't have this whole recycling movement. In fact, the big thing when I was growing up was save the rainforests. They didn't have this global warming shit. They had to save the rainforest.
Yeah, I
and-
missed the rainforest thing.
Yeah, gonna cut down all the trees, and if you do that, then the ozone layer is gonna go, and we're all gonna
That
die.
was perfect.
Do you remember when you were a kid and the pencils actually had lead in them, and you could stab your friend in the hand with it, and it would leave like a blue dot on their hand, and they'd have like a permanent lead tattoo for the rest of their life?
See,
Holy shit! You
I have a
still
dark
one.
mark where I accidentally stabbed myself in my hand. You probably can't see it on there. It's like right there, yeah. Where I accidentally stabbed myself with a pencil, and the lead stuck in my hand. I was like, I think it was about 10 or 12, and I showed it to my dad. My dad was like, "Oh, don't worry, it'll dissolve." It's still fucking there, man.
It's lead. It's not going anywhere.
I'm slowly dying. I'm gonna get cancer of the palm. I'm gonna die, and people are gonna say he must have masturbated too much. No, I stabbed myself.
You know what? It's really great though, because we
It takes
literally
balls to stab yourself.
lived in the evolution of music. I mean, we weren't really little when they had reel to reel, but they had the 45s and the 72s, and we lived through 8 tracks and cassette tapes and laser disc and then mini disc and then DVDs and now digital. I mean, we literally lived through the entire evolution. of music.
If I had kept all of my vinyls that I had ever bought, even if they were kind of shitty, I would have so much money. It would be worth so much. In fact, I remember I had a bunch of vinyls of my parents when I don't even remember why the fuck I had these vinyls, because they were like the Beatles and shit like that.
Ooh.
Beatles on vinyl.
The White
And
Album is worth like
I don't know.
$300.
But I had them with me when I was up in West Virginia, and I was living on my own. And I was moving out. To move down to Texas. I had to get rid of a bunch of shit. I threw away a bunch of fucking vinyls, including Beatles vinyls. God damn.
all
My
those
heart is broken.
all of those $100 you just pitched in the garbage.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit about the Beatles or the Beatles on vinyl. However, that's worth a lot of fucking money.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when cassette tapes came out and you could buy singles on cassette.
Oh, dude.
Dude,
Yeah, and
I
they had
had,
like
like,
one
those-
song on one side and
and
one
song on the other, and
Yeah.
you got those long, skinny tape cases, and you just filled them up, stuck them on a shelf. Yeah, buddy. And then
I
they,
had cassette tapes. I will go there.
yeah,
so
you
many,
could play them and
they-
you jamming out, and then you hear, ah, you know,
Yes!
pencil.
It was the best.
Yeah, when your tape player ate your fucking cassette tape, man, that was just
Sometimes you
no.
can flatten it out and take a little piece of Scotch tape. and
Well, your tape player,
it back
your
together.
tape player most likely was fucking ruined too. I mean, you're basically screwed, and you had to take it apart and fucking pry out all that shit, and you'd be lucky to get all the bits and pieces out and shit. And just
When I was little, I had a transistor radio. Transistor. And
I actually have one.
yeah? My
Yep.
mom had this. My mom grew up here in Southern California. She was born here and everything. And then she moved out into the boondocks. And so she brought all of her stuff with her when she moved out there. And I remember when I was little, she had this radio. It was small in the middle, and it was round, and it got wider as it went around, and it literally separated out. So it had a speaker on one side, and then down at the bottom, it had a dial in the transistor. And you could dial it to whatever you wanted to hear, and it just laid open in kind of an S form. It was really neat. And it's like, it didn't really
Sounds very
need
extravagant.
it didn't really need an antenna either because of the transistor, and it got great reception. You could get reception under your house. It was great, I mean, it's like when the cell phones and the bags first came out. They worked off the satellite. You could get a signal in the middle of the fucking desert. It's like the more cell phones
my
evolve.
oldest sister, she was a fan of the beeper.
I had a beeper for a
And you
brief
put
time.
in special messages, that way when you read it, it came up a certain way and your parents didn't know. My sister had a
Yeah.
pager at like 15, and I don't understand why she got a pager at 15, but she did. It's like, I was bitching on my personal wall the other day that a good phone hasn't worked since 1986.
I saw that.
Well, if you remember when we were kids, you had those rotary phones and they came in like green and white and red. You know, the big, heavy, clunky ass motherfuckers. Those were a weapon. Somebody broke into your house, you could club them with the receiver of a rotary phone. Now,
Yeah.
if you drop your phone, you know it's dead and it costs you $300.
We had some cordless phones for a while back when I was living with my mom, and so I mean those were good and everything. But as soon as
beat the AT&T.
well, as soon as cell
guess it was
phones came
Southwest
out, those were. But I mean, cell phones don't work for shit, and I'm wondering why, including myself, why do we put up with it? I mean,
Well,
I
cell
guess
phones
it's because we only got
Cell phones worked really well back in the early 90s.
when they look like fucking army fucking walkie-talkie that were this fucking big.
No, it was after that. After that, they condensed them down into the bag phones where they hooked into your cell phone charger. And what it was is they worked off satellites. They worked off the global positioning satellites that they had. And that you would literally get your signal directly from a satellite. Those phones worked really well. You could get a signal anywhere. The problem is cell phones really became popular after that. And that's when those little Nokia ones came out. And they put up all the towers. They had to switch from the satellites to the towers because the government satellites were getting really bombarded with signals. And they couldn't keep up. They were getting overloaded. So that's when they switched from satellite phones, which they still use in the military. Now that's how you can call overseas, to whoever's in Afghanistan fighting and get a hold of them. Well, we switched to tower phones, which are nowhere near as reliable as a satellite phone. Now you only get, coverage here and there, and not if you
We
live
have
on
to
a ground
fucking stand
floor.
at the window just to get our phone to work.
It's ridiculous.
The window.
I actually had a cell phone, okay, it was entirely a piece of shit, okay, but it would only get signal because there was an antenna in the bottom section of the cell phone.
That's how my phone
I had
is.
to hold it upside down.
Yeah.
That's how my
Sprint-
phone is.
Sprint puts their this is my phone. Sprint puts their antennas in the bottom. They want you to hold it in the middle and talk so that you're not covering your antenna. Who does that? Everyone holds it like this. Everyone. Oh, and the microphone is in the bottom too. You remember those Nokia phones that were longer and you could drop it on the floor and it'd break the fucking floor?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That just post satellite. Literally, if you dropped it, it's like, you could change the covers. They were all interchangeable. All it had was the guts. Yeah, those are great. These,
I actually
I
dropped my
fucking
cell
hate it.
phone. I think it was last night, and the back and the battery both popped out.
I called my cell phone provider, and I'm like, look, my cell phone bill, freaking ridiculous. Is there any way to get it cheaper? And they're like, no, $100 is as cheap as it gets. I pay $100 for a phone that only works half the time, and they're like, yes, ma'am, that's as cheap as it gets. And I'm like, when did cell phones become so freaking expensive? If I didn't have kids in school, I would throw this in the garbage and just go without. I would do exactly the way I did cable television. Fucking
You know what
do
I
without
loved?
it.
Walkie-talkies.
I love walkie-talkies.
Love. My
Well-
grandmother had this set that, you know how you get the cheap ones that you have like the little siren button and you can
Yeah.
annoy the shit out of each other with them. Well, yeah. Well, my grandmother had this set that were, I'm guessing, maybe either police or military styled ones because they were big and they were heavy. And the antenna was at least 6 to 8 inches long. So we used to play with them. We would sit out in the yard and start just, messing with the buttons. And eventually, if you tried hard enough, you would pick up, like, scanners and, CB radios.
I was fixing to say,
truck drivers and things like that.
Are you sure they were walkie-talkies and not handheld CBs?
Honestly, I have no idea.
I just, they work on different systems. Like the new walkie-talkies that they have, some of them have really good distance and they're waterproof and, you could drown with them and they'd work. But a lot of the older ones were CBs, the one that had the really long antennas. And,
It may have been. Of course, she called them walkie-talkies because my grandmother was not a very smart person. But
yeah.
I was like, oh, these are awesome. I could listen to people getting arrested and things like that.
My dad
Those
had
would be CBs.
my dad had a thing for scanners. He would literally turn on his police scanner at night and listen to people get arrested.
My aunt had one, and she was really old, okay? Like super old, like the oldest person on the planet. But her yard and her house was like a maze. Okay, her yard was just like surrounded with like rows of trees and flowers that she had planted herself, and somehow maintained being at least 250 years old. But she had a scanner that she would turn on just to annoy the shit out of my grandmother.
Yep.
And it was like, okay, we're coming over and we're going to help you. And then see, she would get like 16 bags of potting soil and like 25 jugs of water each time we took her grocery shopping. And me and my sister Jessie were, I don't know, probably about 10 or 12 years old. We would have to unload all of this into her house. And, you know, we got to play in the amazing oasis of a yard that she had. So it was kind of awesome. But she would give us like $2 a piece for all of this labor. And then
Well,
we would
what
have
year
to go
was it?
weed this oasis. Okay, we had to pull all the weeds out.
Ugh. Well, what year was it?
And-
Because $2 could have been a lot.
What? I mean, it wasn't a lot. Honestly, I was like 10 or, like I said, 10 or 12.
So that was what,
So it wasn't that long ago.
1997?
I'm not trying to toot my own horn over here or anything, but
Well,
you know.
yeah, if it was like 1997, you got screwed. If it was like 1985, you were awesome.
She was
Yeah,
born
it
in
was certainly not
89.
85.
Yeah, I remember like
She was born in 89. She ain't gonna. She
She
wasn't
doesn't
alive in
remember.
85.
Yeah.
I remember, you know, being really little and my dad would give me a couple of quarters and I'd take them down to the store and they had, you know, the Chinese fortune cookie gum that was like 2 for a penny. And I'm like, what happens if you only get one? But no, they were 2 for a penny. And
Yeah, well, for my
You
allowance,
see, like,
I got two.
change isn't like that important. You know, change isn't going to get you too much nowadays. But we have like a little gas station, not even a mile from our house, and you know, I get energy drinks a lot, and I will go around our house. I will look in the dryer. I will look in the dirty clothes. I will look in vents, under seat cushions, and everything, and I'll eventually find $1. And my sister, my oldest sister, she looks at me like I'm insane. What are you looking for? I'm like, I'm looking for nickels, dimes, whatever you got. I don't care. You know, because I was taught efficiency, you know, by my
Yeah.
grandmother, and my sister is kind of just like, well, why don't you just go get $1 out of my wallet? I'm like, no, I don't want a paper dollar. I want change. I want it to jingle, and I want to work for it.
my kids are like that. They like jinglies. Me, I'm like, I need foldies.
Well,
Like, I
speaking
will
of,
totally take a Ziploc bag of change into a store, buy about 6 or 8 things, and say, okay, here, you're going to have to count it because I suck at counting.
well, speaking of getting things, Halloween's coming up.
Yay.
So what? Me and Jess have decided what we're gonna do for Halloween. What are you gonna do? Are you dressing up? Or are you just handing out candy? Or are you gonna be avoiding the door? What's going on with you?
I always hand out the candy. That's, you know, my thing. I've done it for years.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, and my sister and brother-in-law, you know, they take my nieces out and they go trick-or-treating, whatever. You know, I've been wanting to go trick-or-treating for the last, like, 5 years, and I don't get to go. Granted, I'm 22, so I shouldn't really be going trick-or-treating, but I want to go anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, I always try to dress up. You know, we don't have too many kids in our small town,
Mhm.
you know, and I usually just decorate like a mad person
Mhm.
to compete with the other people in town. I always win. Always.
I was faced with a dilemma. You know, I like to dress up.
Mhm.
Bryce likes to dress up.
Well, this year will be the first time I've done it in a long fucking time. Because usually before I would just hide in my room, play PlayStation and ignore the door.
Well, here's a question that was
You're
posed
so
to me
festive,
earlier.
Bryce.
You know, how old is too old for your kids to go trick or treating? Well, especially with, you know, like Colin, who doesn't really grasp the concept of getting older. Do you let him continue to trick or treat into his late teens and early 20s just because he doesn't know any better?
I don't give a fuck. He can dress up as long as he wants. I don't give. We're
We'll
dressing.
take
I
her-
have given candy out to kids that are 13, 14 years old, but I have also given candy out to their parents who look depressed standing there because the kids are getting all the candy.
Well, I mean,
Well, we're dressing up this year.
I mean, really, if it comes down to it, you can tell if a kid's got special needs by the way they're excited about, the Halloween and stuff like that. I mean, if I took my 25-year-old trick or treating, and you could tell he's got special needs, would you still give him candy, or would you slide him at the door because he was too old?
Some
No, I would
people
definitely
would.
give
Some
him candy.
people wouldn't. Jess is going as a pregnant nun. Pregnant.
Yes.
I'm hoping demonic nun.
Oh yes,
And then
this is
the
my
baby that's going to be coming out of her belly is this. We got a.
Bryce's penis baby.
It is. It's Bryce's penis baby. It will be climbing out from my womb.
That's
So yeah, we
awesome.
got a generic baby doll.
I bought it off eBay. Some lady
eBay.
said it was cute and sweet and needed a lovely home.
So
I'm not telling her I killed it.
So we put nails in the head. Yeah,
We drilled it
These are
first.
real nails.
Yeah.
We drilled
awesome.
holes in it, painted it, tapped nails in it.
Hammered nails
Yeah.
to the kid's head.
Me, I'm going as I don't know what the fuck you would call it. I'm gonna be going as well. I'm gonna
A
be
butcher.
wearing.
He's gonna be a
I'm
butcher.
gonna be wearing a gas mask. Here, hold on. You go ahead. I'll be grabbing.
Yeah, he ordered a gas mask from Dysfunctional Doll. He has a bloody apron that he stuck Halloween blood into a water gun, and he shot it and smeared it like with handprints. He's got a little hatchet, and he's gonna walk around and be the scary motherfucker that the kids are running from.
Well, maybe you could be like the butcher for maybe contaminated meat of some kind. I don't know. I'm
No,
trying to reach
humans. He chops up humans. See, he's got a nice bloody.
here. Or you could just be the psychopath. That'll work.
Yeah, see the bloody apron?
Now all you need is clown shoes. The bloody apron, the gas mask, the hatchet, and
Then I got the bloody
clown
hatchet
shoes.
here.
I like it.
Yeah. Bloody. Okay.
That's awesome.
Oh, and we've decided that when we all get dressed up, when we all get our makeup on, we're going to set up the tripod in the living room, and we're going to take pictures, and we're going to have our family photo done, because we haven't had one yet. We're going to do a family photo in our Halloween costumes, and then we're going to make them our Christmas cards.
That's awesome. Yeah, something I've been wanting to dress up as
You're such a good one.
is okay. I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure they're called a ringmaster, but they're not exactly the ones that are not the ones that are standing in the middle of a circus ring. They're the ones that are outside at the podium saying "Step right up." What are they called?
Carnies?
No, they're the people that tried to get the people into the sideshows.
They're carnival
Right.
barkers.
Well, like in how they have the certain hats and the vest combos that they usually wear, and then they have the stick or whatever. Just old school type deal.
Uh-huh.
Well, I wanted to be a zombie one of those.
Uh-huh.
Like I wanted the hat and the vest and the stick, and I wanted to have a podium where I gave out candy.
Nice.
Sweet.
But I was gonna have like body parts laying around and things like that, and I was gonna be like zombified.
We went to the 99-cent store. I don't know if you can see it or not, but they have little body parts. Can people see that?
That's like the best gas mask I've ever seen.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it or not, but
Yeah.
like I have little bodies like hanging
There you go.
up here. We went to the 99-cent store and they have skeletons hanging from noose garland type things. Those are great. Our dining room's got like spider webs all over it. We have a Halloween tree that we use. It's got ravens and
I actually have a
spiders
picture
on it.
that I took on one Halloween. I know it's on my Facebook, where I'm actually wearing the exact same skeleton garland that you have there as a
Nice.
necklace.
That is awesome. I know you have the Scream mask one.
Yes,
I'm just wearing this for the fuck of it.
I'm the weirdo of the family. In case you haven't noticed.
We're the same thing, and luckily we found each other, and we're weirdos together. We don't
it's
like to
humorous
grow up.
because my sister, my oldest sister, she's a medical assistant. She's very educated and smart, and she can be slightly materialistic, but that's because she likes nice things in life, whatever. Well, she's very, she seems very normal on the outside, but she has this, she's always had sort of an obsession or a love for vampires.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Twilight.
something that, looking at her, you wouldn't necessarily think that.
Mm-hmm.
And like I can have a conversation with her for hours about vampire movies, vampires in history, whatever, and she'll be able to hang. But if I start talking about that's Bundy or Manson or it's some kind of a psychopath of some kind, she's completely lost and disgusted.
That's
Like-
hilarious.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I
as
don't
long
understand
as
you.
they sparkle, then they'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't. She's
Count
strange.
Chocula cereal. That'd be a good conversation to have.
And then,
Don't
of
I-
course, I try to make her crazy. I'm like, okay, well, what if, Lestat was a serial killer?
He
is a
was.
serial killer. All vampires are serial
but, like,
killers.
I mean, like, not just in the vampire sense. And
Vampires
she's like,
are
well, that
serial.
would be completely stupid because he's a vampire. Why don't he just do it that way? I'm like, think about it. Maybe he doesn't want people to know he's a vampire, so he goes off on a killing spree, with a sniper rifle.
Well, Louis did. He went out and
Make
killed.
no sense.
Well, Louis did. He went out because he didn't want to. He didn't want to kill humans. He went out and ate animals.
Well, yeah, but I like driving her crazy. I like making her mind break.
And like,
You throw random shit out at her.
yeah, and
This thing makes
Armand.
me look like one of those guys from Spy vs. Spy.
Yeah, and Armand, was supposed to be a kid.
Meh,
It was twisted.
meh.
So yeah. There's all kinds of vampires.
But of course, she also has a morbid sense of humor, which I have because I'm psycho, but she has it because she's been in the medical field for years. So it's like, okay, she's seen a lot of things, and she's not so much desensitized, but it's so common that she could laugh about it and find the humor in
See,
it.
I do that. I when I was in the 10th grade, I had an anatomy class, and our field trip, we went to the morgue, and we saw body parts. And so when I watch these movies with Bryce, I'm like, dude, that is not anatomically possible. That is not correct. And he's just looking at me going, stop. He gets grossed out at just the gore parts, and I'm watching it going, why? I mean, I no, it's not realistic. It doesn't do anything for me. And then, if I see somebody post like a snuff picture or something on their Facebook page, and I'm like, oh, damn, that's kind of grody. Because, it's accurate. What are you doing?
I'm chopping myself.
Well, as long as you like it.
Okay, I have to share this with you guys. This is ridiculous. My sister earlier, I was thinking about her, so it reminded me. She was looking on Craigslist for, carpet shampooers, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she found a listing that I didn't think that I would be able to find again. But basically, it's for a Bissell Pro Heat cleaner and shampooer, okay? And it actually says that... Okay, I'm going to read you the listing. Okay. So, shampooer and rug cleaner with accessories, purchased 2009, used once. Husband had a stroke and could not control the machine. This is what it actually says on Craigslist. This
Okay.
may not sound funny immediately, but she cracked up about it. Literally.
Why?
She thought it was hilarious because she explained her visual to me as soon as she read that sentence, and basically she saw the shampooer going across the carpet, dragging him with it.
I was thinking it's more like one of those, when you have like a one of those floor buffer type things, and it gets away from you and it just yongs down the thing. It's like,
Right. Well, see, that's not what's funny to me. Like I get her visual. It was funny for a second. Great. Well, I go back on Craigslist, and I actually did not remember that it was a Bissell or anything like that. So at first I put in shampooer. I'm like, okay, well, I got a million listings. I'm never going to find this exact one that she found. Well, it has the search option to either search within the title of what you're looking for or in the entire post.
Oh my god, they
Okay,
use
so-
stroke as a keyword.
I put husband had a stroke, and it popped right up.
That is
That
great.
is hilarious.
I love that. You gonna play a song for us since we're about done?
We got 5 minutes, man. Screw the song.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't know how long that song is. So I mean,
I just figured the exit was gonna put us over.
AIDS. All right. I don't know if you guys can fucking hear me or not, but we'll be back next week. Or if we're not, then we're not.
Got problems if a battery is on. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Really see the really coming to my door. She loves like a woman and fucks like a whore. She's my bitch, the woman I love. I take her me to heaven, but no way we were both. Many are shocked with the color in name, but she knows all about the devilish game. Bills and rent, 10 times a dollar. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. We got problems if a battery is on. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. We got problems if a battery is on. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. She's a woman so confident, she don't give a damn about your arrogance. And even though she may look fucking mean, she'll give you the world if you treat her like a queen. My little baby's a wicked little thing. You cross her once and you'll feel the sting. She gives me everything that I can love. And 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. We got problems if a battery is on. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. We got problems if a battery is on. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. We got problems if a battery is on. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. If we got problems if a battery is on. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Say to me that all women suck and you can never find my kind of look. Better check yourselves, yeah, look at yourself, 'cause the problem I see is all yourself. Tell you, man, this shit of greed will disappear if you listen to me. Bills and rent, your times are tough, you 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. We got problems if a battery is on. I got 99 problems, but a 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Problems if a battery is on. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. If we got problems if a battery is on. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. And if we got problems if a battery is on. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. If we got problems if a battery is on. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. And if we got problems if a battery is on. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one.
This show sucks is sponsored by FallenShirts.com. Music provided by the band A Fallen Mind at afallenmind.com. Please visit our sponsors so that this show can remain free. Thank you.